Excellent. Let's pop that there. Ooh. And then we can see what's going on. Which is always helpful. Let's just make sure it's going on. Yep, we can hear, so that's cool. Turn that sound off on there, turn that sound off on there. Oh, that wasn't there. We haven't done that one. Good morning, Crafty Jacks. How are you? I have no idea how many people are going to join us. Please like, share, so we can spread the love, and let's see if we can do some page building and some other bits and pieces. Lovely, thanks Crafty Jacks. I've gone live a little bit early, so we'll just have a look. I'm fine, Crafty Jacks. I've got the house in absolute chaos because we're still in the middle of decorating. I've got nothing where it's meant to be. Yesterday there was no chance I was going to get alive yesterday because I had more than a little stuff all over the place. Let's just do some shoveling of some of this stuff out of the way for the time being. Because, oh, that'll be another piece that I didn't prime. Well, really, what am I like? There we are. Good evening, morning, V. Thank you for joining us, my darling. It's much appreciated. I will be being told off by a lovely friend of mine if I'm not careful. So let me just shovel an apron on. There we are. I'll pop that onto there. That onto there. And then we'll do that. Shuffle that into there. See where we go. Ooh, looks like we've got people joining us. That's always lovely. I think Lamia's joined us from, I saw come in from Canada. That must be quite early hours of the morning out there. Thank you, my darling. That's much, much appreciated. Much appreciated. We'll see. We'll build this, I hope, by just doing regular lives on the same page. Let me just get this bit. There we are. Let go of it. And the hands cleaned, because that's always. Good morning, Dawn. Hello, my darling. How are you? Trust you're well. Liz and I have been scheming and planning workshop makes for our retreat in March. There we are. Let's clear that mess up. I have got a fan heater on and an hoodie to keep warm. It's flipping freezing in my conservatory this morning, which is always never good. There we are. We're bang on at 10:30. So I think because I'm going on a personal page, when I came to setting up the live, it didn't let me set up it as an event, but I'll have to continue to play. I'm sure I'll get there. Yeah, there we are. Hi, Susan. So, yeah, I'm not surprised it's cold up in Scotland. I am not surprised. So, that's what we're going to be messing with today. We've got a large quantity of stuff here, so hopefully. Oh, Sarah John joined us. That's lovely, lovely. So there's a whole host that's been going on in the things, which I'm not going to relate to, but suffice to say, you're going to see me going live in my own page, doing what I want, with what I want, and having fun, not restricted to other things. I will continue to use what I have. Good morning, Olympia. Welcome from Greece. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Oh dear, let me get rid of all of that. So this is what I'm intending on messing with this morning. So I have done some prepping, as you as you'd expect from me. So the papers are Blueland by Stamperia, because Blueland to me was never actually released as a Christmas paper. It's been out for years, and they have obviously re-released it, ground floor level coming up. And then I have two, not one because I'm greedy, but two of these MDF lead bird cages. So we're going to mess with these, and I'm going to be using some Pentart mediums and Pentart colours, and because I'm layering on these, I'm not overly worried about putting a primer down first. If I was only going to be using one colour on here, I would absolutely put a primer down first, ladies. Don't be tempted to short circuit, because it's really not worth it. And at some point I'm going to treat myself to get rid of some of my manky brushes, because I've got lots, and I'm very much using up stuff today. So I've got pots that have been open for a while. They might be useful, they might not be, but the intention is for me to start to de-stash some of my ridiculous amount of product, and rather than having everything opened, you see. So we're going, because this is what happens when you don't move like that. So although I've picked some of the I've got some Stamperia colours here, I've also got Pentart ones as well. We think we're going to go with that one. No, we're not going to go with that one. We're not going to go with that one. We're going to go with this one, which is Pentart Dark Blue, which is slightly darker than the other, and we might well go with some vintage blue. Or shall we go blue blue? Blue, 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 blue. Anyway, let's see. We might go blue blue. There we are. So we're going to do, I know I said I was de-stashing, but yeah, that's also there. There we are. And that has been opened before. So we're just going to take shades of blue, and we're going to mix and match them on our on our MDF. It's not going to stay and I deliberately don't want this all to be one colour. That's the whole purpose of what, you know, of me just splashing them some out. And as I say, I'm not worried about the mixing and merging, because actually by the time I finish this, we'll not be none the wiser as to how messy this bottom there might have been, as I say, because it's not going to stay like this anyway. We're going to be adding different layers along the way. But you can see how if you take your acrylic paints and mix them up and blend them on your piece of paper, you'll get a nice colour blend without much difficulty. And there we are. And the colours will all work together because they're all tonally from the correct page. So if we do this one on the top. So I hope everyone has had a nice Christmas, have done lots of things that have made them happy, made lots of nice memories. I will end up with Mickey yucky sticky fingers because well, that's just what you do, isn't it, when you pick up wet paint. So I have a mixed ombre lead piece here, but as I say, this isn't going to be the final colour. Good morning, Alison. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you. So that can go there. We might well need to add some bits more, but as I say, some of this is very much about me wanting, excuse the noise, to use up what I've got, really, rather than buying more. There we are, we can mix these in, so we'll get some mixed colours. It won't matter that they're colouring. I don't need to, oh dear, we don't want lumps of paint in there though. As I say, we're just going to blend these all through. So the way, what I did was essentially pick up the papers. It's shades of blues and whites, so that's what I'm going for, so that my background tones in with the finished piece rather than contrasting with it, if that makes sense. So there we are. Let's just add a bit more of that because we've got the fronts of these to do as well, so that's okay. I'm glad to hear that. It's nice if people have had a lovely time, so I can mix these colours through, and we can, as I say, these won't be the same by the time we've finished. I've got, because we're, as I say, I'm going to mix it all up, and we're adding an extra layer, and that is once again the only reason why I haven't bothered to prime my MDF, because I'm not mithered about it sinking in, and it's not my top layer. So let's just have that. There we are. Don't want specifically sharp lines, but I'm not mithered about the rest. So there we are. So I hope that everyone else is well, that people haven't got the revolting lurgies that are going around at the moment, of which I think there are way too many. There we are. There we are. So that can go there. Let's just make sure we haven't got any. Oops, I don't want that to be turned there. We'll get rid of that. So I've no idea how long we're going to take this morning. It could be. I like blues. Stick that over there. Stick that. Oh, sorry, that might have wobbled my camera. Let's just shuffle some of that over there for this one. So that is marine blue from Stamperia. Dark blue, indigo blue would work just as well from Pentart. This is aviation blue, and the decor paint soft chalky in denim would work quite well as an alternative for that one. And I say this is blue anyway, and this is going to get the same top treatment, so again it won't matter. And yeah, we're going to have a messy stage, but that's also just okay with where we're going with this. I'm not. It's another example of not very needing to have completely colour coordinated things. There we are. Just move those out and about a bit. And because so what I'm not doing, and intentionally, and which is actually dipping my brush into my paints. I've put them out because I don't, when I'm doing this type of ombre blended technique, I don't want the to contaminate my pots, is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, let's go to some of that darker one up there. You know, if you're not mithered about contaminating your pots, then obviously be my guest, but it's not generally a good practice to to spread the love between your paints, really. true colours to start with when you're starting to make is more helpful than anything else. Hello Marisol, how is the beautiful Andorra this morning? I trust it is good and that you're not too cold, because it'll be snowy I think up in your lovely mountains, and the ski season will have started. There we are. Let's just pop that over there and we'll carry on. We will need to get some more paints out because we've got the second one of these to go. So although these pieces from Mad Hatters are, I think, intended to be used singularly, it's not my... I often layer things up, as you well know. You see, this is what happens when you're using up products. Hello Sylvia, welcome my darling, thank you very much for joining us. I think it's not such a terrible time of the day for parts of Europe. I think it'll be reasonably okay for Australia, I think, and pretty terrible for big chunks of the States, but hey ho, you can't please everyone all of the time, I think. There we are. Let's just cover some of these areas that I can still see. Now they say this is just a base glare. I'm not mithered about it being uneven, higgledy-piggledy shaded, because it's not ultimately what's going to matter with this. Let's cover some of these edges because they do need covering. It's not a project that's going to have lots of brown in it, so I don't mind blue on the edges, and I don't mind faded blue on the edges, but I don't necessarily want to have there we are. The brown burnt edges from the laser. So there we are. I don't know if people are going to struggle to find me. I've posted in several places and hope that people have read that I'm going live on my own page, which is something I'm going to be doing more of, because it just gives me a bit more creative freedom. I will be continuing for the time being with Pentart, but when you're on a design team you never quite know how long that journey will last, and that's just cool. It's part of what it is. Lots of edges, you see. We might be here a little while today, she says. People can come in and go as they please, because that's the joy of the live. If you get bored you can go away, and if you are not bored then that's also absolutely fine. We will have some bits more. There we are. Just let's get these brown edges covered. There we are. As these are not going to be the finished colours, I am very much aware that I am using this as almost as a layer of gesso, and I know the teaching is that gesso first to save you pennies, but when you've got products you need to use and you're layering, you really don't always have to. If I wasn't layering I would, because I'd have to put another layer of paint on these to get true. Yeah, I don't have my normal amount of room on the floor because I've got the contents of my living room my craft room as well, or some of the contents of my living room in my craft room. So you could, you know, if you were wanting to, you could use your MDF pieces for stenciling through if you wanted to. That would work. Right, as I say, we're on a you stuff up. Good morning, Sue. Thank you for finding me. So my intention is to try and go live most Sunday mornings. In the week, people have got work. I'm intending behaving going back to the gym. But Sunday mornings is a bit of quiet time, isn't it? And I would quite often be crafting, so that is my intention, is to go live here on my own page on a Sunday morning. So just watch out, or just make a mental note, because notifications from Facebook seem to be a bit on their own mission at the moment, doing their own thing. It's not quite guaranteed as to what Facebook is or isn't going to do with things. So there we are. We've got some mixed blues, all shaded, and now let's get these edges done, and then we'll have a bit more, and we'll have a big clean up, because at this point we're going to swap to less. We're going to have a little bit of a dry, and then we'll have some more specific painting to do. I don't want those to be. Never any need to say sorry, Joan. Never any need to say sorry. You know, we all have a life, don't we? All we've done so far, my darling, is slap some blue paint, different shades, erratically, irregularly. So I've got some shades and some tones onto some Mad Hatter's MDF, so that I can, well, I'm working my way through the mountain of stash that I've got. I've got a lot of stash. Hello from Mexico. Hello from Mexico. So that, yeah, I've got a whole mountain of stuff in my craft room. So the intention is to use stuff up and hopefully inspire. But I also want people to take ideas and concepts of what I've done and then do their own thing. But it's really because I think most of us are very guilty of wanting new, and then the old doesn't get used up, which is, wow, a bit of a waste of money, really, isn't it? So to me, it makes more sense to do that. Those are going to be layered, so it don't matter. I can that's reasonably well covered. Excellent. So let's just break those edges in. Make sure we've got all of that edges. There we are. And if I've missed a bit, well, I've missed a bit, you know, you can always patch in later. So, alright, in amongst the non-existent space, let's shuffle that down there for the moment. And let's give this mess a jolly good clean up. We will be coming back to these. As I say, I've got the sorted collection. Yeah, I'll give mine away. So, I give mine away. It goes on a wall. When it's horrible, dirty, dusty, it goes in a bin. Or it goes to a friend who runs craft stores, and if she can sell it on, she does, and then it gives us a kitty for doing nice things with. And if she doesn't like it, she can put it in the bin, and then I don't feel so guilty, and that's just cool. Right, lovely. But we definitely do now need an almighty clean up and my hands need cleaning before we can do the next step. So that's cool. There we are. Because otherwise I'll have assorted shades of blue on things that I don't necessarily want a hot mess of blue on. Enjoy your day, Bee. Enjoy your day. As I say, it's pick a time for a live, and there's just never any, you know, whatever you do is going to be impossible for everyone and anyone to, you know, to join. So if I'm crafting, I will go live, and then people can pick it up as they want to. The lives from Christmas got a good number of views overall. So even if it didn't have huge numbers of people watching, people certainly came and looked them back at me. And now I'm getting very hot in here. So just bear with while I de-yuck my hands. I know that I'm still using a yucky thing, but if I can get the worst off onto this, I can then have a clean one to get the next lot off. -11. Oh, not. The mountains will have beautiful snow. But then, as you say, the valleys will be less. I think anyone who's watching the ski on the television will know that most of the resorts, I think, are now open in Europe. The lower level ones not so much. But there we are. Do I need to have it? Do I need my hands perfect? No, I don't. But I don't quite want so much on them to transfer to everything. There we are. Good. Now then, we do need a bit of drying at this point, so let's see how much of this we can make a mess of. Give this a bit of a dry. So I'm afraid there is quite a lot of rinse and repeat for this today. But that's also fine. Good morning, Tom. I trust you're well and enjoying life. So we're just going to give this a bit of a dry. Let me give this a shake, because we're going to be doing this on all four surfaces, because it again needs a bit of drying. But this layer needs to be dry before I can do this. So we just need to carry on and get it there. So I'm hoping that bit by bit I will build the numbers of people watching live on my own page, rather than watching them always and doing them for other people. If they ask, I might, but if I might not, depends on what's going on. There are some very strange characters in the craft industry, and so I've decided that I'm going to do my own thing, in my own way. So for those of you who didn't join first thing, and that is all just cool, I will, and my intention is to go live around 10:30 on a Sunday morning. I know that might upset those of you needing to go to church, but that's life. It's there for watching back, but I will, and I may sometimes go live on a Saturday as well. Depends a bit on how chaotic the world is, because Monday to Friday it's springtime for like overall have. It's still feeling damp, so let me just carry on and get this dry until the weekend works for me. And I think with more and more, you know, people back at work, actually daytime in the week really doesn't work for people, and there's an awful lot of lives of an evening, and that, for me, that often interferes with family meal times. But as I said right at the beginning, whatever you do, I think we cannot please everyone all of the time. So that feels reasonably dry, and I've got paint on my glasses, so that's really cool, isn't it? So this is some stuff called Vintage Effect Medium. So I'm just going to give it a dry, and it's a paint effect medium. So let me just squiggle a whole collection of that onto there, and then we can, you can see it puddles. So this is going to actually be the back of my piece. So there we are, we'll just shuffle that into there. You can see that I have got some, and it gives an almost waxy feel to the piece, and that's cool. Oh, let's get the second piece. Mop up some of this, we don't quite need it in such big blobs, so, and it's got to dry, so not having it in great big blobs is helpful. Good morning, Liz, welcome, welcome. And again, this is going to give a weathered effect, so you don't have to be precise with what you're doing. Round edges where it might naturally distress is good, but actually if you leave something outside, it'll age on its own, won't it? Right, is this one dry? That looks to me reasonably dry on the top. So let's just take these pieces. As I say, I'm not going to take it all off, but I don't necessarily want such big blobs for drying purposes, otherwise we might just be here till the cows come home. Currently, Marisol, the weather is beautiful here. You see, I knew that was going to happen, but that's also fine. It is absolutely beautiful. There we are, so that can go onto there. We'll stick that over there for drying. One more. That does now need a little bit of a waft dry. So let's give this one. Yeah, I've got it's beautifully sunny in my craft room at the moment. Beautifully sunny. See, this is what happens when you've got a piece that's got holes in it, isn't it? You slop stuff through. There we are. That can go over there. That can sit there for drying. There we are. Let's just wash some of that out a bit more. There we are. That can go into that. That can go there. She says having splodged it all over the floor, but hey ho, that's okay. As it dropped it, it tilted, so the medium has all shifted in runs, but that's okay. It'll be, again, it doesn't matter too much. Good afternoon or good evening, Sharon. Sharon is in Australia, I believe. So I think quite often when things go live in the evening, the ladies in Australia, it's getting quite late, and even in that hour afternoon it gets to be late evening, and certainly in parts of Australia. So cool. So now what have we got? we've got lots and lots and lots. That won't get painted, that one can go over there, and lots and lots and lots. So as I say, we're going with Blueland, which is cool. And we're going for simple, easy, because that's what we want for this, rather than complicated and difficult, because complicated and difficult is a bit of a pain in the arse, really, isn't it? There we are. We'll have some of that one back out, and we'll grab a palette knife. So this one is Vintage Blue from Pentart, so it's a bluey grey, which is cool. And this is Oriental Blue, which might be a bit bright, but hey ho. Let's just hang that one up there, and that could also dry. There we are. So we're going to have some painting. Let's just grab some brushes. We've got our fine liner ones over there, so that's okay. Some of this we're going to have plain, and we will be doing some distressing. So this is just a frame mould from Stamperia, from the Blueland collection. It's just quite pretty, and we'll be layering on top of this. And again, we're not going to be leaving things a straight level. I've cast these in resin because I like the solidity and the fact that it doesn't go soggy when you start to paint it, and the fact that it's also not brittle. And that's also fun, you know, but that's my choice. You could just as easily paint them in use paper clay. It's just that it tends to stay too soft for my liking. So we're going to mix these up. I'm going to just do the in situ painting and in situ mixing, which again is why I've now got those colours separated on my palette, aka my board. So we're just going to mix these up so that they all will coordinate with the finished pieces and with the frames when they've got their top layers on. Any mixed media type piece inevitably has a degree of layering of colours and paints, and that's equally fine. So let's just use that darker blue here. None of this will stay in exactly the same colours because we will be adding on top of it. I have pre-primed all of these pieces, having cast them from resin with an acrylic primer, and whilst I will shortcut with my MDF when I'm layering colours, I absolutely won't do that when I am using resin pieces, because when you're putting stuff onto plastic, it really doesn't cope very well with not being primed. So always that would be my recommendation from this point of view. Now let us, there we are, and then we'll be adding extra colours and extra layers to these anyway, so we don't need to be uber specific at this point with these. So as I say, I'm going to be adding some distressing, and then once I've got the base layer down and dry, I can then add extra colours anyway into my mix. I don't want all of the birds though to be exactly the same, so we will mix them up on here and colour blend as we go. One of the things I think that sometimes puts people off using models, your resin pieces, is that it becomes, you've got all of the details and everyone thinks you have to paint every last bit of detail in, and yeah, for some pieces that's absolutely the right way to go, there is no question about it, but it's not always the way you need to go. That's some over poured resin, so let me just deal with that. So these won't be staying all completely blue. That is definitely not the intention. There we are. So let's just see which colour do we want. I think we're going to have some more of that aviation blue under here. Good morning, Maxine. So, Susan, the resin I use is Amazing Casting Resin by Illuminite. It's a very well behaved resin. It gives you about 15 minutes to 15 minutes of pot time ish, and it's maybe 5 minutes pot time really, so you don't have all your moulds set out, and then is dry and cured in about 10-15 minutes and bendable. And some of these pieces are shaped, but that's intentional for what I'm going to be doing with them. And the cheapest place that I have found the resin is from a company called Just Like Home Interiors. Their base price is about £20 for the standard Illuminite pot, and they quite often will have 20% off deals, bringing it down to £16 for 250, so 500ml total of the resin, which for me is a usable, a manageable quantity. So yeah, so Just Like Home Interiors, who are Prima stockists and IOD stockists, and it's where I've been getting my IOD and my Prima moulds from. Right, I'm deliberately not, I know leaves are green, I know wood is brown, but actually I'm wanting shades of blue. I'm very much not going for a biologically or botanically correct look for my makes today. It is about working with the papers, which the clue is the fact that they're called Blueland. So we're going for a monotone look, but not a black and white look. So monochromatic is the order of the day. The colour variations will show, but we're going to be adding layers, and we can come back in once we've got the base layer. Yeah, just like Home Interiors. It is a UK store based up in Gateshead. The lovely owner is called Helen. She is super helpful, post second class. It's a furniture recycling shop, but they have, as I say, she has lots of nice things. And if you like the Amazing Casting Resin, that is definitely a good place to head for it, because it is just so much cheaper than anywhere else that I found it. On Amazon, when I looked the other day, it was like £33, which is excessive. That's Crafty, it's about £22. So it depends on what else you're wanting to order, I guess. But there we are. Where's my mucky paintbrush that I was using? How do you put paintbrush down and then lose it? Oh, there we are, because it's upside down and you're not looking for it upside down. There we are. As I say again, these are not going to stay solid dark blues. Although having said that, they're not exactly a solid single colour anyway, because I have got them all of my shades that I've put on the base of the project. I have also popped on all of these pieces. So some of these moulds are from a Prima redesign. So like this one is a very old Prima redesign mould. It's still available. The birds are from Aviary collection. There's 3 different moulds that have slightly different birds on. And they are still actively available. So let's get rid of that piece. So it's not a problem to find, I think, any of the pieces that I'm using today, though of course I would encourage you just to take the concept. You know, if you've got the Roseland collection as opposed to the Blueland collection, then obviously that will work for you with shades of the pinks and the roses. That's there. You know, by all means buy the colour coordinated packs, but actually have a look in your stash. An acrylic paint is an acrylic paint at the end of the day. And my personal preference is not to use all surface ones, because I really don't feel that you get the longevity you get with ones that are designed for product for specific use. But you know, if your budget only allows one thing, then go for it, because I'd far rather you were enjoying and using what you had than had 25 tons of stuff out that was then sitting unloved, because that's the real risk, isn't it, as you buy more and more stuff, because that company's stuff will work for that and that. Yeah, you just have to, you know, quite often you'll find that you have stuff that's usable, or colours that are tonal, or take 2 colours and mix your own. Pot of black, pot of white, really good quality, always worth having in the stash, because that way, you know, when you're needing to darken or lighten, then that's just makes life easier. There we are, so that for you. Good morning, Sabine, how are you? So there we are, so let's just carry on. So yeah, with mixing and matching, I say I haven't, quite often when I'm doing a live for things, I am working to a time schedule of about an hour, because that's what the individuals want. But I'm freelancing, doing my own thing today, so it'll take as long as it takes, and that's just fine. Because what you'll find when you're rushing to do projects for lives is that sometimes it doesn't quite work out quite how you intended, and you end up missing bits, whereas if I can take my own time today, we'll have a nice finished piece rather than one that I'm going to have to faff with after the live. It's the temperature has definitely dropped, Sabine, there is no question about it. It is bright and sunny, and thankfully dry, because we have had an awful lot of rain recently. but yeah, it's definitely colder than it has been of late. So these moulds from redesign, some of the pieces are quite thin, or some of the junction areas are quite thin, and that means even when the resin is cured, you can break pieces off, which is cool. So let me just, I very definitely like the blues. I'm a cool tones person. As a child, I would have gone always for warm tones, but as an adult, I definitely am more drawn to them. And would you believe it, I haven't used any rust, I think, for the best part of a year. And I have some sneaky knowledge, which I probably shouldn't be saying because it is sneaky knowledge, but someone spilt the beans. Well, no, they maybe shouldn't have done, but Stamperia are bringing back again a collection on the 17th of January, which is when their next release is, that is that will see me getting the rusty things back out, I think. But it will not see me buying more because I've still got plenty of the old collection. So they have got a new one as well, but I'm not going to say any more about that because, as I say, that's not public knowledge, but as to what is happening. But there is a new release coming on the 17th. So there we are. And I think probably what it means is that they're going to be bringing out or bringing back more of their older collections. Right, let us lid some of these pots before they dry out. Now some of these are definitely fit for a rubbish bin because there's really not very much in them. But that's also cool. Let's lid that. Let's lid that. Lid that. Lid that. And because I've mushed all of these together, I can't reuse that, so there we are. That's just, which is very wasteful, but hey ho, these must, because it'll get everywhere, won't it? Because that's what paint does. There we are, that's the worst of that, onto that. We got a vaguely, there we are. There we are. Have we got a desk that's reasonable? Yeah, probably. Let's just give these, because we've now got so many bits out, a good dry. The other bits aren't dry enough for me to do the next step anyway, so I would say these are not going to be staying in this format long term. And that's just cool. So what has everyone got planned for the day, or for the rest of the day, or even for next week? Good morning, Debbie. Thank you for joining us. I'll give these a little bit of a waft. At least get them to a point where I can move them out of the way, which is always cool. And we'll move that over there, so let's just pop that there. Now if I wasn't live, I would literally just leave these now to dry on their own rather than force drying them. Go and find a cup of coffee, be naughty, have something to eat that I probably shouldn't have, but hey ho. What I'm trying to say is, you know, if you can, let your products dry on their own. Because the real headache with doing this is that it will surface dry, but then long term will you know, it'll be wet underneath, so when you try to add the next layer you'll disturb the top layer and it will make a difference to what's going on. And what you can see by heating just how flexible that resin has become. Yeah. Let me see if I can flatten that bird down. I'm sure I will if I heat it for long enough. So just need to hold it in place while it. Couple of craft challenges and mates, brilliant. That'll be fun. Good morning, Anna. Good morning. I'm wrestling the Christmas decorations back into storage. See, mine never got out of storage. Yeah, I did have lots of Christmas stuff around. You see, look, just how flexible that piece of resin is, because it's been well and truly heated. Yeah, which is a cool property. They're thinner pieces. If you try and do that with a really chunky piece, then it won't be quite so mobile. Yeah, mine never got out because I had decorators here the second week before Christmas, and then again on the 2nd. I had carpet fitters here yesterday. Next week I've got a new staircase going in and carpet fitters coming. So that'll keep me out of trouble. And then the following week we've got carpet fitters back in again. And then I've got 2 more rooms to get painted. But then we will have done the whole house. I will have some more carpet fitting going in. But yeah. And in the process we'll have had a good amount of decluttering, declearing and sorting out stuff. Now if I lift this piece up, you can see I've got variations of colours and variations of thicknesses, and that's fine again, because if I wanted it as a solid colour I would just go back over and paint it again, but because of where I'm going that's less of an issue, much less of an issue. I do need to get these dry and I need the base pieces dry. So there we are. And we'll be adding lots to these anyway, so it's not a great headache to just shuffle some of these pieces out the way. And we can get the next piece in. Good morning, Martin. Are you at work today, my darling? And if so, what posh cars have come through? And if you're at home, or even if you're at work, what is the biscuit of choice for today? Good morning, Patricia. Welcome, welcome. It's lovely. We are using assorted mediums today. We've got Stamperia Blueland, we've got Prima Redesign, we've got Pentart and Stamperia mediums. We're having a lot of fun mixing, matching and trying to show that actually you can, you know, just because it has a name on it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you have to use. Everything from that line, that you can use and mix and match as you have. How your mum today? I hope your mum has recovered from, because she had COVID, didn't she, before Christmas, my darling? So I hope she's fully recovered from that. My son, who had COVID mid-November, is still not back at work, is still not right. He's probably going to be there or thereabouts for tomorrow. Hello Sandra, welcome, good morning Jill. I do hope Tom is not unwell and that Jennifer has not spread the lurgy that she has. Jennifer's my daughter, Tom is my daughter's boyfriend, long-term boyfriend, and the lovely Jill is his mum. For anyone who's a little confused by those conversations, because I get that that's an odd thing to be saying in a life, but hey ho, we've got time to fill whilst we're doing these, and then I can have a clear down again. So Tracy says, I've set myself a challenge to finish what I need for this year by the end of January. So far, I've finished 0. Well, that's okay. You've got plenty of time to get them finished, haven't you? See, I'm naughty. I've got lots of pre-made cards. Do I bother sending them out now? Because when it comes to Christmas, can I find where I put them? Definitely not. Because but there we are. Just carry on. I can get these to the point where I can move them. You think Tom shared the lurgy first? Oh dear, never mind. These things happen. I also think that work for Jenny also had lots and lots of lurgies going around. So has anyone made plans or changes? That would be lovely, Joan. It's nice to be able to see family, isn't it? Right, let's just shuffle those. Now I can lift them up without getting too much paint over me, she says. Right, then we can clear this lot down because we are going to be making mess again. Because why wouldn't you be making a mess? Where did I put my scraper? Oh. I moved it because I said I was going to need it. There we are. That's what we do, isn't it? There we are. So is that Charmaine watching? I think have you arrived? If it is Charmaine, have you arrived safely at Create and Craft? I think you've got shows today. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe yeah. I don't know. Or are you watching while Robbie's driving you? There we are. This is definitely not a paper craft live, though you might see me doing some stamping at some point this year. Got lots of stamps that might just have to come out on my plan for the year, is to use what I have to do things that are different. That might help, wouldn't it? Where am I up to? Which one is the driest? None of them are particularly dry, but hey ho. So, this is the pieces that we did before, and these areas which are more white, I can see are splitting and are leaving a waxy trail behind. I just now need these to be dry. So, because it won't work if they're not dry, and we've got lots of these to do, I'm afraid. But it does need to be dry. So for those that have joined, this is a piece of MDF from Mad Hatters, painted with assorted colours of blue, so it's not deliberately a single tone. I've allowed those to sink in. I wasn't minded about having true colours on any of these pieces because it's not the look I was wanting overall, and that's fine. And then I put on vintage shabby effect medium, this one from Pentart, and you can build this. So I can do this, do the next layer, add some more and add another layer, and build my colours, because it's going to leave a waxy resist. Yes, Julie, it is a spring make. I am well and truly fed up with Christmas. So we are doing a spring make and we're using Blueland. Because I've had Blueland in my collection from when it first came out. Because it wasn't a new collection in spite of what Stamperia said. It was a very old collection. The moulds were new. The ephemera were new. That is for certain. But the rest of it was not. So you can do homemade biscuits and cake. Yeah. Homemade biscuits and cakes, always good. Always good. When is the Gateshead show? I know Sandown Park is... How have I got gold on there? Well, I've obviously touched something. Never mind, we'll deal with that. Because I haven't got any gold out, so there clearly was something gold lurking that was wet. I'm assuming it's because I actually had some pigment powder out or left on something and it's just picked that up. You can't see what I'm talking about, but if I move this into here, we've got gold lurking just there, up in that corner. It's got to be powders that have gone working. The importance, of course, of cleaning up and doing things as logically as you go, really. There we are. March the 21st, so really not that far away at all. For those of you that live in the northwest, Sincerely Yours have their first show on the 11th of February, £2.50-ish tickets. Buy in advance, free tea and coffee. Buy your own bacon butties. But that's also cool, isn't it? I'm sorry ladies, but we've got lots of these to get dry. Sometimes you'll see me doing this by using candle wax. It does give a different effect to the shabby medium. But if you struggle to find the vintage effect medium from Pentart or the shabby medium from Stamperia, they're the same product incidentally, then rub a candle on, because that will work just as well. Well, it'll give you a similar end result. Right, so that now needs, the worst of the liquid is off, but it's a waxy top, so if I carry on touching that, it's always going to sound wet because I've got the heat on it, so it will be nice, but it now needs to cool down. So let's just give this, if I move that up, these areas here are where it's already dried, and you can see a horrible manky scummy effect. Yeah, I know that feeling, Joan, very well. My son has been, well, I got it then and was coughing for weeks afterwards. But now, but thankfully now cough settled. I'm still tired. But, you know, I would have normally been able to go and do an hour's swim at the gym, followed by an aqua aerobics class. That's so not happening at the moment. Better those can dry off. And like most of these mediums, again, if you can just let them dry naturally, you're definitely better off letting things dry naturally. Getting there. Let me come back to this one, it's still looking a bit wetter than I really want it. That's an issue because we've got two more bits to do. Right. Coming up. Just pop that onto there. Sorry, it is a bit like waiting for petals to dry, isn't it? And in this case it's plain to mediums to dry, but it just has to be done. But this is one of the reasons why it's a medium that I wouldn't tend to use on a time restricted live, because the layers take such a long time. Good morning, Teresa. Welcome, welcome. What time is it in the US today? Or are you in Portsmouth? I always get confused. I get confused. It does not take me very much to forget where people live. Yeah. Right, one more of those. Yeah. 6:38 AM. Yeah, that's an ungodly hour. But I guess it could be worse. Don't worry, Julie. The intention, because I'm going live from my own personal page rather than a group or a business page. When I tried to set it up as an event, it just wouldn't let me post friends as it would get with elsewhere, and that's fine because I'm really not mithered. But the intention, my darling, is for me to do lives on a Sunday morning about 10:30. They'll take however long they take, so you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe a bit more. People can come and go as they please. It won't take offence to any of that. But we're going to be, I'm going to be making some sort of more involved pieces maybe than I would manage to do on a time restricted. Yeah, it still does need a bit more dry. Activity. We'll go matte when it's properly dry. See where that's come through. Well, I just decided that the evenings were just too cluttered. There's too many people. There's a couple of big groups who I think that, you know, who have essentially, I don't know, abandoned organising lives. Not happening very often in them anyway, not reliably. But I decided it was just going to be easier to do my own thing at a time that suits me. You know, evenings coincide with family meal times. It's not my preferred time of the day for doing a live, that's for sure. Right, excellent. Right, those can go over there. Guess what, ladies? I'm really sorry to break this to you. Well, we've got more painting and more drawing to do. Right. And on the spirit of using stuff up, you see, this is what happens when you don't use your products. They go dry. Let's see if that is usable, or whether it's, see, they go absolutely solid. So we'll shove that in there. We do have more. Alison, I don't need to make money. I'm very fortunate. I don't need to make money. I am very conscious that that's a privileged position to be in. Now this will end up with streaky areas. It's inevitable because of the medium I've put underneath. So the paint will not stick very well to some of these areas. And that's the whole purpose of that medium. Good morning, Finula. It's chilly here, that's for certain. Add a bit more of a layer. I did work hard to be in this position, my darling, but that doesn't mean that my good fortune cannot be shared with others who maybe are less fortunate. As I say, we're using up paint, and that is just cool. Right, well, it won't stay that patchy. Some of these are front, some of these are back, so there we are. We might be sort of almost out. I need some of that for dry and brushing, so let's just go with some of that one. So that light blue from Pentart and Aviary blue, so it's a very, very pale bluey grey. I'm sure I've probably got another of the Pentart light blues somewhere around, but heck, I will not be bothered. As I say, because my intention is to use up product rather than accumulate it, and to do some destashing along the way. Because we have way too much and we need to be using it. I don't quite what I do with all the pieces, who only knows. I might stick some up on my page and say, make me an offer, just to clear them. Don't know if people would like that or not. If they don't, then that's equally fine. Please just say, because I'll not spend the time photographing to put them up if people really think it's a terrible idea. Because life is too short. You went clothes shopping. I hope you bought something nice. You've been working so much overtime, having got your job. You're doing fantastic. So the lovely Liz Wheeler and I are co-hosting a retreat up in Thornton, Cleveley, so up on the northwest coast, the weekend before Easter. And dare I say it, because there's another big retreat being organised, okay, with some pretty well-known people, but our retreat is £300 including accommodation. Some paper crafts, some mixed media, some so-slow. There's a bit of everything. It really is a very mixed up set of activities that are going to be going on there. Good morning, Danke. There we go. Let's just stick that one on that floral novel down there. Let's see if I can grab whether I do have another Pentart quite blue. That'll be a no then, won't it? Pink, purple, green. That'll be one that's having to be organised, won't they? That's lavender. Right, okie dokie, so this is what it is going to be. As I say, my intention is very much to, to use some of these like this, very pale, and I'm just wanting a mix. You're hoping to get to the Midlands one. Yeah, the headache for the Midlands one through is venue. So let's just have a little bit of a, tell you mix your own, so why don't we mix our own? That blue is very bright. The fact that I'm going for shabby means that actually it doesn't matter if my colours don't all match together. I still want that paler than that. Why not? Why not? There we are. Well, really, that was so rude of that. Just as well I was a well-behaved child and put a opinion. Yep. There we are. That's better. And I know I've got the second one underneath, ladies. I'm not mithered because I'm going to be going back under it anyway. So there we are. We'll clear some of this up because we don't want all of these lumpy bits of paint lurking around, but that's equally fine. They'll all spread through. We can do this. You see, even though you think you've got them all, you still end up with bits that you've missed, because that's just the rules, isn't it? That is just the rules. There we are. Let's have a bit there that is still dry, because my hands are dry. That's where I've been holding it all the way through, so let's just, as I say, we'll come back into here regardless. There we are. As I say, it's not going to stay like that, so that's also not a great big issue. So there we are. That's reasonably well covered. Reasonably well covered. Hey, we're getting there. And you're thinking, what on earth did she just put all of that dark blue paint on it, only to then cover it all up with a paler paint? Wow. It all will be revealed. There is some method in the madness, that's for certain. Chocolate chips, yummy scrummy. Yeah, chocolate chip cookies sounds good to me. Fresh baked, gooey in the middle, yummy, yummy, yummy. My waistline might think otherwise. My mouth definitely likes it. But hey ho, let's just get all of these nooks and crannies painted in. We are going for a shabby feel, so 100% precision not required, but there is definitely a limit to shabby, properly shabby, and shabby, untidy, not finished. There we are. We're getting there. We are getting there, ladies. Mind you, we've got all of those models to sort out from their monotoned colours in a minute too. There we are. Good. So that can now equally go on the floor in front of the heater. Good. Let's just pop that over there. Like that. Pop that there. Just so if you scrape most of it up, you don't quite all spread it around. Right, excellent. Definitely hands dried required. I think some of them have just stopped bothering Joan, to be honest. One of them I'm no longer a member of because someone's taken offence. Their problem, not mine. And one of them, they just haven't bothered to advertise alive in there of their own by the group owners for months, and it's their group. So if they want the group to run, I think the group managers should be managing it. But personal feeling doesn't mean I won't go back, won't do lives in there. But I'm going to do more here, where I've got control of the timing, the day, and the rest of it. I also think most things have their time, and people move on. And that's also fine. Right, so we have some timing to do. Let's find the birds, because they can all have similar approach to life. So let's just take some of that. let's just add in. So some areas of that I do want more, and some of it I don't. And you definitely don't always have to dry brush with white. So this is like that pale icy blue. We'll just add, can build our layers of colour. And because each of the birds is, you know, tonally a bit different, they're not going to. Thank you, Julie. It is a Prima redesign mould. It is still available. It's not one of the. Well, I think it might have been initially sold, meant to have been a. Came out. It's either Aviary or it came out as the same at the same time as Aviary. There we are. So we've now brought some tonality to that. And let's just bring this one in. We'll paint back in the eyes, and we're going to add. We might not actually. We might not, because as I say, I'm wanting this to be kept tonally in a monochromatic pack. Oh no, Joan, that's terrible. That is terrible. I know they no doubt they've got stuck and they're busy, but it doesn't help when you need a routine, does it? There we are. So there were 3 moulds in this collection, and I had 2, and I bought a mystery box from Just Like Home Interiors, and I guess she knows what I've got anyway, but she put the other one in my mystery box, which is cool. There we are. Let's just I did about adding and putting antiquing gels into these, but actually I'm preferring just the light dry brushing with the colours. So rather than, there we are. I was going to say I have a few more pieces that I need to do, so some of it will get antiques, that's for sure. Say we're wanting to keep with the predominantly the monochrome effect for this. Yeah, I put everything up out of the way, didn't I? Yep, absolutely. Very, very effective. And I'm using a sponge and holding it right at this end. So I'm not squashing it in, I'm sort of definitely brushing the paint over rather than using it as a painting. But again, it's an easy way of adding some extra colour than just than just having to get out the antiquing and using the surface. It's a different type of flower, so we'll just go a little bit more heavy on that. There we are. And we've got, now then, so that can go there. Now I deliberately want a different effect with these. They keep sending to the run. I suppose I don't know where they are, so they don't know. Yeah, it's very sad, isn't it, my darling? And it, and people aren't in the position of needing a carer through their own choice. So this is white antiquing gel. If you've got white vintage patina from Stamperia, please don't go and buy the white antiquing gel. Please use the white vintage patina. It does the same job because it's the same stuff. It's made by, that will be the same company. Yeah. So this is a medium that will wipe back, but once it's dry, is permanent. There we are. So this is going to give me the opposite of effect to the dry brushing, because it's going to sit in the nooks and the crannies rather than on them. There we are. But definitely with this stuff, don't paint a huge piece and then think, oh, I'll be able to wipe it back, because once it's dry you definitely can't wipe it back. And this is the first pot of this I've had, and as you know, I use this an awful lot. There we are. Okay. Hand cleaning time. Hand cleaning time. So we are going to be a wee while yet, I'm afraid, ladies. I do. Yeah, Wedgwood vibes would be sort of the effect. Let's clear some of this. Let's see if we've got. So the problem with using the vintage effect medium is that if you then force with a heat gun the top surface, you're going to find that you end up melting the wax, and then it doesn't lift off when you want it to. So let's just clear some of this out of the way a little bit, because we've got such a load of clutter there. Anyway, let's give that. Right. That one looks reasonably dry. So all I've done now is got a there we are. That will lift some of it. It's not going to lift all of it. So this is a coarse grit. Sandpaper. And the areas where the vintage effect medium are will lift off. And the areas that don't have it won't lift off so easily. So hence the shabby effect. And I can go back and I can repeat this, so I could do another layer over the top if I want to. There we are. So we have a shabby distressed effect, hence the name of the product, Vintage Effect Medium. And we'll add more details. That's the back of the piece. Long term, it's not going to be the front because we've got the stackable picks. Right. There we are. Pop that over there. Right, now to find the next one of these. Tell you what, because that isn't dry. Aha! Eek. Right. I know I'm going to need to paint that. So this is from the paper collection. I think I might go over that way. So let's just pop there. I don't need to cover all of that bottom. So we'll have a little bit of that bottom covered. Pop that up to the edge. Again, we don't need to have the whole of that edge covered, but that's equally fine. So there we are. Pop that. And the reason I changed my mind is I'm using this side of the paper, but I actually like these pieces, so I'm going to be able to use them elsewhere. So that's the plan. Well, I'm glad they've arrived. And these half pieces, they'll be used on something else because you can tuck things underneath, can't you? Yeah, and I need to cut on the inside of here. And I can always, to be fair, I can always sand stuff off as well. But all of those part pieces we will end up using anyway, because we can tuck them in and under and over. There we are. So we just need to trim another little piece off here. It's not quite going to. There we are. Oh, I'm glad they've arrived, Joan. That must be a relief. It's just, the problem is you're just waiting, aren't you, otherwise? Which is also not very nice. So let's just... There it is. You're making crafty notes. Okay, okay. Well, the whole purpose of me doing a live is to help people, to encourage you to get stuff out. Our craft products are expensive. Yeah, whichever way we look at it, it all adds up. And then we buy them, and and I'm as guilty of it as anyone else. Just because, I've crafted a lot, I've definitely bought stuff in the past, and and then it's sat there, and then I've forgotten why I bought it, and then 5 years down the road I don't even like it. So that's never good, is it? So let's just pop that onto there. That can go onto there. That can go over there. Let's find a cloth. Push this down. That piece is going to be visible because the piece on top has holes in it. So let's just pop a tiny bit of that over there. And give that a little bit of a paint. You see, do I look after my paintbrushes? That'll be no. Am I a good girl? That'll be no. It's definitely not a good thing, but it's life. I'm a realist. Okay, okay. Cool. Stick that over there. we're going to do some rule breaking. I need this top there to be dry, ladies. I would definitely say that you're better off letting all of this dry naturally when you're using the shabby effect medium for rubbing back. Just pop that into there because I don't really want to have another one of those. And could I bring some of this? So the other thing that will happen when I'm doing this is that it will show people actually how long things take. Fantastic, Martin, you enjoy it. Where, are you going somewhere special, or are you just going to give it a twirl in the lounge and make sure it all fits properly? Or make sure it works with whatever else you want before deciding whether you're keeping it or whether it's going to return, because we all make decisions, don't we? There we are. And that is definitely easier to do, ladies, when you have got the shabby medium on there than it is without the shabby medium. There we are. My sister-in-law is having regular carers. You're right, it often isn't the same people. There we are. So that's going to sit on there quite nicely. So I am using Pentart's Express Glue for this rather than the one that's in the tub. Could use the one that's in the tub, but this has got a nice applicator. Could use gel medium, but the Express Glue is pretty cool for things like this. So it works quite nicely. So this is clearly a big project, not one that you could comfortably do on a time restricted live. So I apologise for it taking so long, but I'm not really apologising, because my intention is to make without compromise and use what I have. So let's just line that up nicely, line that up nicely, and just give that a little squash. So I'm picking up the blues and the shabbiness from the background by doing this. By having the layers and adding them up. So who's doing this? Christine, welcome, welcome. Hello Mitch, I didn't see you sneak in. It's interesting because on the computer I don't get told who's coming to watch, and it's not updating my messages either, I don't think, whereas on my phone I get messages telling me what else is going on and who's coming in. There we are. I apologise if I've missed anyone. Not my intention to be rude. I have in any way, shape or form. So that's part A. Rinse and repeat. Actually, right. but you know, we've still got some wet areas. Yeah. But for anyone who does, does feel, that they have to go, then I will. Obviously, the live will be here saved on my profile under lives, and I will post my finished piece anyway eventually. Spraying stuff black? What on earth are you spraying stuff black, Jill? I've got every room bar Barry's bedroom in states, Barry's my husband, in an absolute state of total chaos at the moment. We've got everything where it shouldn't be, nothing where it's meant to be. Some rooms with carpet, some without. My husband's bedroom is actually the one that he uses, because he snores and I snore, so we use separate bedrooms because then we'll both get some kip. Is reasonably sorted. And I'm hoping by 2 weeks, two weeks time, yeah, 2 weeks the worst of it will be broken. So we can scrape off some areas. Some of that's picking up areas that have wetter paint, so I'm lifting off the shabby medium where the waxy bits are, where I've got lumps. Let's give it a good sand. There we are. More messing. Metal stands for red teapots. They were gold for Christmas. Okay. Now, if you are someone who is a control freak, who absolutely has to know exactly how everything is going to be, and complete perfection is for shabby is very definitely in the eye of the person who's making it, because no two pieces will ever look the same. Just take some of that lot off there, because otherwise it's going to go every which way. There you go. And the same approach to last time. Which bit of this am I likely to use? Answer is I'm likely to use those little frames far more than I'm going to use the Right. The bench that's on there. This is also quite a good nifty way of, there we are. So we'll do that. There we are. That can go over there. I managed to get paint on there. Miracle of miracles. So if you would, you know, if you're likely to use this bench piece for your project on something, then keep that rather than chopping off, because this is going to be the back. But I know I'm much more likely to use those butterfly pieces. So that can go onto there. That rough edge will get covered, and that is all gold. It Crafts Jacks. I might be using my stash up. But watching lives is dangerous when it comes to being, yeah, I know some people will use it just because it's entertainment and that they're meeting up with friends online, and that's also cool. But it is dangerous because people do end up being inspired and thinking about it. The Blueland collection is lovely if you like the blues. If you prefer the more pinky, it's almost a more salmony colour. It's not pink, almost, should we say, rose goldy coloured, I think is the best way of describing the Roseland collection. So it is a pretty colour, but I have resisted buying it because, as I say, I knew I already had this. So by spraying with water, I'm going to drive some of this glue. Well, A, it spreads it better, but also it's going to drive it into the MDF. Which will help long term. It also makes your glue go a bit further. There we are. I'll shovel that. She says making an absolute mess. That will become a sticky pickle in a minute if I'm not careful. So let's just do that. And I can lid that. Yeah, it's they're good collections. They are good collections. So that can go onto there, up to the top, down to the bottom. There we are. And we'll add a little bit of paint onto, you see, and by having the water, we've got slip, which you wouldn't have if you didn't have the water. She says demonstrating slip quite efficiently and quite effectively there. There we are. Next time I decide to do this, I'll do the back pieces ahead of it. Or thinks it'll be easier for a heavy one than going on for hours. There we are. As long as they've done what they needed to do, my darling, and you're comfortable, or whoever it is needing the carers is now comfortable, then that's the most important thing. And at least they've been. There we are. Right. You'd be glad to know we've got the paint bit out of the way now. We haven't quite got to the put it all together stage, but we are getting there. I don't get this dry. When I put it on the top, I'll end up with a mess, won't I? As I say, I think all of the things I've used today are easily accessible. You can swap out the moulds, you can use what you've got, you know, but if you haven't got moulds, use the ephemera pieces from the collections, or die cuts. You've just discovered alchemy. I've got a potions cabinet somewhere, Jill, that I've done a long time ago. Or did I just, no, I still think I kept the alchemy potions. Right. Here we are. She says. But Alison, use what you have, my darling. There's almost certainly something in your stash that will work. They say, haven't got the shabby effect medium? Just rub an old candle into it. But definitely don't go near that with a heat dryer until you're ready to, when it comes to drying, because it will melt. And then once it's dried, it'll bead away. You'll be able to do the same things, rub back what you don't want. Right, excellent. We are getting to the put it together stage, ladies. Miracles, miracles, I hear you say. There we are. The bird cages are lovely. These are Mad Hatters from last year. They are absolutely still on the website. There's lots of variants. In different sizes. So these two are the biggest two. There's a freeform stand-up one. There's an upright version. There's a three-dimensional bird cage that will work as for putting candles in, maybe. Yeah. You're very welcome, my darling. You're very welcome. We will hopefully be doing it on a regular Sunday basis. I've got enough stuff, surprise, surprise, to make probably for the next 20 years. Will that stop me buying more? Probably not, but for the moment we are going to definitely be using what we have. So let's just let this go. Okay, so the white antiquing gel should be easily available. If not, try the cream white shimmer, which will give it a little bit of shimmer, but it's still white. So that will work if the white antiquing gel is not easily available. And the decent sanding blocks mine came from Amazon. Because they're definitely, you know, there are some things where I will use an emery board. You know, without doubt, I will use an emery board for, you know, because that's just the easiest thing to do. Right, eeny meeny, let's get clear some of this. Come with this. Let's put a glue gun on, which I probably should have put on before, ladies. I do apologise, but hey ho. I'll pop that into there. That can warm up. We've got some canvas stretches, so let's just even that so it's nice. Right. Aha! Right. Excellent. So let me just grab there we are, and then we'll see what we might add from here or what we might not add from here, as the case may be. Cool. So I know that I want to pop that onto there, and I don't want it hugely dimensional at this stage, so let's just if you want to add more depth, then of course you can happily do so. There we are. And if you want to use gel medium for this one, you can also do so. I just need to reach now, because it's lurking over there. Oh! I think probably February is the answer to that question, Julie. I think. We'll just add some bits into here. It'll sink back, but it's again it's going to help with what's needed. There we are. It's going to be easier, isn't it? There we are. Let's pop that over there. Cool. Maybe I don't want it quite so over there. There we are. That'll be why I had that shaped. There we are. So let's just add some pieces into here. There we are. So those can go there, because that's the big focal element that I want to pop into there. Let me just get that so it's flat along the bottom. Wonky bottoms are never good. Sorry. Right. Okie dokie, 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 dokie. There we are. So I've cast mine from resin, Crafty Jacks, but you wouldn't have to. Okay, you could just as easily craft these from from clay, would work just as well. There we are. So these are canvas stretches, but that's what I've got to pour. There we are. So that is going to help that, give it a bit more of an area to grab to. There we are. She says. There we are. Well, they're cheap and cheerful, aren't they? And free. So that's always a good move, I reckon. I reckon. So I could have used the birds on this side, but actually, because I've got those birds here, I'm deliberately not using them. So let's just pop that way. That can go that way. That can go there. To me, it just seems to make sense to use what you've got, really, rather than chucking everything away. There we are. But if you don't fill your centres in, then things become wobbly and saggy. I've got enough saggy bits. Absolutely have enough saggy bits without adding more to it. Excellent. So that can go there. Okay, so we'll need some more canvas edges underneath there, but that's equally fine. So I want to add, she says, this piece needs to go underneath there, and that can go flat. Okay. And I don't want the butterflies underneath there, so that's going to hide there. Okay, I need to put a spacer onto there because that's sagging, and then we can pop another one into there. So the nice thing with this glue is it gives you a bit of wriggle. There we are. That's better, that's better, that's better. Say no to saggy, absolutely. I didn't want that. I do want that to be straight. There we are. That piece is going to go up on top of there. So let's just... There we are, there we are, there we are. So that piece is going to sit there. Where's my frame? Because these are my bigger pieces. Yeah. So that's how I want that to sit. So again, I need some spacers underneath here. And the reason I'm not using ink on these is that they're not quite white, but they're near enough white on the edges for me not to be worried about it. There we are. Put some glue on there would help, wouldn't it? There we are. And I need some more spaces in there. And are we going to run out of them? Possibly, possibly. See, that's very inconsiderate, isn't it? The other ones fitted perfectly. Right. When all else fails, stick in some grey board. Because that will also work. Shovel that into that. We'll need a bit more of that grey bar. We have masses of grey bar. Can we find it? No. Well, we could find it. To be fair, it just means moving away from here. So there you go. Go on into that. Grab onto that. You can go up there. Yeah, saggy bottoms are never good. See that piece of grey water spun and truly abused. There we are. Pop you into that. Pop you onto that. Now we've got somewhere that we can pop these. So we'll pop that onto that. That onto there. Just going to add some stability into our piece. Right, let's just let those grabs. And we'll swap to some gel medium. Have I got the text up the right way? Answer on a postcard? That will be no. And put it back on the same way then, why not? That's better. That text is now up the right way. And that piece can sit on there. But the eagle eyes will now know that I haven't used half of my pieces, and that's also very true. Aha! There we are. We might be about to change our minds with some of this, but that's also okay. So that piece is going to pop underneath there. Poke its head out from underneath there. As that can that piece. We might not be using all of these pieces. Just because we've got it already does not necessarily mean it all needs to be used. So I think that's going to work nicely onto there with that piece tucked into there. So there we are. Yeah. Yeah, we know, Martin. But we will get there. Because usually what happens when I do a live is I start doing this, I put all the pieces in, and then I add a whole mountain more. So that one can go lurking underneath there, tucked into there. And then we might pop him actually onto there, because I think I prefer him there. There we are. There we are. Okay. You'd be surprised at how many pieces that you can get into things like this, though. There we are. So I'm left with a bird, but actually I think I've got enough on there, so we'll leave that. I'm left with a stick and another stick, but I think it's going to get too crowded with them, like that. So let's do that and do that and do that and do that, she says. And at this point, we then throw everything all over the floor. Why not? Why not? Why not indeed? There we are. We can then add a whole mountain of extra bits and pieces. And faff. Well, it's given you a good excuse not to do any hoovering, hasn't it? So let's see what we've got here. Some of these will work and some of these may not work. And that's also fine. Let's just chop it off all of that lot. Chop it off some of these. We've got some of those will definitely work. I know I had another one of those. So again, this is on the I'm using up my stash. Let's separate those two off from each other. So we'll build a little forest garden, shall we? Just into here, just to add some extra pieces in. That can sit there, and we need some more lurking over there. Let's see what we've got. We've got. Okay. So we'll add. So we're going to add some areas of 3s into here around things. And this is definitely when the hot glue gun comes into use, because these will go up over in that. All of these plastic bits come, well, mine come from 14 Craft Bar out in Ireland. But have a look at forestry wholesalers, because they'll have bits that will work in a similar way. You just need to be prepared to pull things apart. Right, okay. So that is just, we're going to pop our bigger pieces down so that can sit into there. That piece can sit into there. We might stick another piece into there. And then we can cover up some of these areas anyway, long term, because we're going to build our layers. So that's going to go onto there. This one can go into there. Just take the end off that one a bit more. That can go there. One can go into there. So this is when these pieces become truly mixed media in my mind, because I'm layering, I'm adding, I'm mixing. And I'm definitely not sticking to one medium. So that can go into there. Just grab another one of those. And you can see that I'm really not afraid of chopping up my pieces. so that I can then tuck stuff in and around. And I'm mixing up my layers, I'm mixing up my colours. And all of these pieces ultimately are the bits that pull projects like this together. I've got an ugly bit there, and that's my own fault, but that is cool. We can resolve that. So I'll pop that into there. That can tuck into there. Because I don't want it as a single piece on its own. So this has got a little bit of a green tone in it. So that's going to go into here. So that's adding the green tone that's in there. Into there. And then let's take this one and we'll work out where I want it, and that's going to sit underneath there. Okie dokie. And we still have a bit of a pickle there, but we're not yet. So that's okay. So let's just stick some of that into there. Can fill up that gap, and that can go onto there. That will hide the bit that I don't particularly like down there. So keep that into there. Yep, that one can go into there. And look, literally, ladies, all I did was grab all of the bits that I had that were in the correct colour family together, so that I could then build things in the way that I wanted to. So that can go into there. Don't necessarily want that there. That can go there. Just tucks into there. So I'm now just building until I'm happy. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll ever be happy, like, because I'll carry on playing forever. Never mind, there's an awful lot of lurgies around, I'm afraid. There's an awful lot of lurginess around. There we are. And for those that don't know me, I am definitely, as you know, a more is more person. I'm definitely not a clean and simple person when it comes to to my makes. Right, let's just have a little bit of a clear down of the mess. We might carry on adding. In fact, we will be carrying on adding because we're still not completely happy. There we are, that's another piece of that. I will make it work. And I deliberately put that glue in the middle of there so I can scrunch that flower, gouchy gouchy, into a bud. Let it settle. And make it work for me. Okay, let us have a clear down of this almighty pickle that we have. Let's shuffle some of this lot out of the way. You see, you just never know when to stop. You just never know when to stop. There we are, these can go into there. Yeah. And I knew I had a third one of those flowers. There we are. See, you can then carry on adding stuffing to your heart's content. Right, excellent. Let's just get rid of some of this lot out of the way. You will be going to know, ladies, that I might just take it without finishing. So we've got nice florals. Don't really want florals at the top because that doesn't work for me. Bird sitting on a branch. We could maybe add some little flowers up here. Maybe. Let's add some little blossoms, seeing as we've got plenty of these to heart. Just keep the blossoms. Yeah, we'll stick a blossom into there. We'll stick a blossom into there too. You see, yeah, you just carry on then, don't you? Well, I do. Right, where did I put those bits? Oh, the floor. There we are. I had some more of that. More glue required. Yep. Hey, get off here, glue string city. There we are. Because then these pieces are looking less like they're just plonked into place, if that makes sense, she says. And do I want another? So I put that up there, I'll have to put another one in, won't I? But I can put that one into there. There we are. See, this is what happens when you start crafting and you've got lots of stuff. I still feel I might need another one over there, which is very irritating, but I do. So why not? Why not? She says, having just... That's better. That can go into there. That one can go into there. There we are, that better. It's not irritating me now, even though there are 4 clusters. There we are. Right, come here, Mr. Bird, sit down there. Where's my white paint? There's my white paint. Step away. Did I need all of that one? Yeah, didn't I? Right. Get rid of all of those bits. There we are. Right. Of course, we have to have a bit of splatter, don't you? Liz, you'll be proud of me. I've put a pinny on. Right, now then ladies, we have finished. I might add some bits to the back later on when this lot's dry. So I hope that for those of you that like to see things, projects, front, you know, all the way through from start to finish, that's been a useful activity. but I think it also provides you with a more realistic time frame as to no. We could put him on there. We could put him on there. No, we're going to leave it. We are going to leave it as is and be a well-behaved child. So ladies, that's it for today. Please stay safe, and I will be doing another I'm on the Pentart live at 6 UK time on Pentart's page on Wednesday evening, so please join me there, my darlings, if you can. And I will be back here on Sunday of next week, if that's okay, at 10:30. Take care. Bye for now.